What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. And wow, so Jenn's finale of The Bachelorette is finally here, and obviously just kind of watched it. Still a little bit speechless about what we just watched on the finale. Literally recording about 28 minutes past the show ending here at 11 o'clock Eastern time on Tuesday night. And dare I say that Jesse Palmer, Bachelor Nation, and The Bachelorette ABC, y'all might have actually just delivered the most dramatic finale ever. We know the trope and the saying, they say it every year, going back to Chris Harrison days, and I'm curious when they actually did start that, if they've been doing that since season 1. But you know how it goes. Every season we get it's the most dramatic finale ever. It's the most dramatic They might have actually just delivered with this episode, so we're obviously going to get into that. We get the cold open to open the episode. Jenn saying this conversation we've seen ongoing with Jesse. Thought she knew the way she wanted things to go, but woke up a totally different view on things. And then her saying to one of the guys, "I can't let you propose to me." We jump to the live portion. A lot of Bachelor alumni in the house, of course. And early on, it seems like the crowd seems to want Devin. When mentioning the two guys, obviously we've talked ad nauseum over the last couple weeks about how Devin has been there for Jenn, saying that he loves her and is there ready to get engaged, it seems like. And Marcus is basically just emotionally unavailable at this point. And then Jesse says, "Or will something that has never happened before happen?" Well, here's a spoiler. It will, Jesse says. So Jesse, I'll hold you to it. And going back, Jesse was right. So, all right, we can believe you, Jesse. So as Jesse says, let's say aloha as we move back to Hawaii for the conclusion of Jenn's season. Jenn says she's in love with both Marcus and Devin. Jenn meets her family at the house, and Jenn's mother, aunt, brother, and friend are there. Her brother just wants to protect her after, obviously, her dad's left and, just wants to look out for her. Tells them that she's in love with both of them and that only Devin has said it back. She said it kind of under her breath, like how Marcus hasn't said it yet. Like, no, only one of them has said it, but I mean, Marcus, he wants to. Devin arrives. They talk a little bit about the journey and, their common ground on similar untraditional families. Her mom thinks they need more time. Overall, Devin tells her mom and aunt that Jenn makes him feel 100% whole. They ask if he could always make her feel safe. He knows that she hasn't always had that in her life, and being that person would be a blessing for him, he says. He says that he couldn't propose without their blessing. It doesn't seem like he really gets it, but he knew that he would have to have these tough conversations with her family. Jenn says to her mom, "Do you like him?" She thinks they need more time, about it being just a whole thing, just a short period of time, and need that time to understand each other. Out of the commercial, we get Jonathan saying that he showed up because he heard rumors about how things might go and wants to be here for support. Jeremy reiterates that. So kind of interesting. We get that. We jump back to Hawaii, and her brother says that his opinion is he's not sure. Jenn says how they bonded over not having a father in the picture, and she has faith that their relationship can work and that it will be different because they're willing to fight for that. Her brother says that they're a great match and experience similar things and excited to see where it goes. But there's another guy in the picture still, obviously. Devin shares with her brother that she keeps him grounded. He asks for her brother's blessing. He said, definitely not going to give it to you now just because he hasn't talked to the second guy yet. So you obviously have to respect that. Devin says the conversation with him scared him even more. Devin says obviously would have loved for that to be roses and daisies with her family, but that he thought about all the questions that they were going to ask beforehand and, thought it was good overall. Jenn says that I love you, don't forget it, and don't get in your head about it. And then it seems like we jump to the Marcus portion. It seems like they're meeting each other on the same day. I'm curious if that's something new that they're doing. It seems like they used to do it like 2 different days. But Jenn's brother thinks that Marcus needs to say I love you before the end of this, and is especially worried with her previously falling for emotionally unavailable men and worried that she's falling into that same pattern. She says if she got an I love you from Marcus, it could change everything. The fact that he's just straight up saying I'm not in love with her right now is still killing me, especially when we're at the finale episode and one of the final 2 people is still saying I'm not in love with you, and we've had at least 2 to 3 men go home the last couple weeks that have said that they're in love with her. Obviously, you have to take her feelings into account too, but I just don't think we've ever had this before. There's a few eye rolls in the audience, obviously, when Marcus is talking about this and he comes in. They fill the family in on their little bit of who he is and a little bit of their journey. Her brother was happy that he opened up, but was hoping to hear more about the relationship with Jenn. He tells Marcus about his concerns about Jenn having been with emotionally unavailable men and asks if he feels that that's why he's holding back given his journey in the military. And, as he said, kind of making decisions based off logic as opposed to emotion. And her brother wants to know if that's why he's possibly holding back. Her brother says that he kind of played ring around the rosy with his questions, didn't really answer it. But is Jenn willing to wait is the question that her brother is looking for here. And her mom and aunt ask if he's in love with Jenn, and he said he wants to get there but is unsure. Says that he's been beating himself up the last couple weeks because he wants to feel it but hasn't. And I think that's the answer right there. Just, he's not feeling it. He says he really likes her and wants to get there, but at a certain point, the old saying, like, crap or get off the pot, like, especially on this show, it's like you don't have that time. And, especially how the show goes, like they want this, journey, and then you want this proposal or, promise to, stay together after, similar to like Matt and Rachel from a couple seasons ago on The Bachelor. They agreed to, they weren't at the point where they wanted to get engaged, and even Clayton and Susie as well. Like, because of everything that happened on that season, they wanted to be together, but they wanted to continue to date, weren't at that point of engagement yet, and they continued to date off the show and see what works. And I feel like that is kind of where we're at with Marcus, but it seems like that obviously, and Jenn has really said throughout this journey that, she wants that engagement, I feel like. And so it's like, if you're not there at this point, when you're meeting the families, it's like, are you going to get there? Probably not, but we'll see. We'll keep moving forward. Jenn tells her brother that she feels like he could definitely be giving more love, but thinks he's almost there. Her brother says that Marcus kind of fits the emotionally unavailable mold that she has previously fallen for in the past. Jenn thinks that he's different because he is a great man and has good intentions, but is concerning that he is so hesitant, especially at this point. Jenn's okay with him not being there yet, but as her brother just wants to give her that outside perspective, and he says, like, how long are you willing to wait? And Jenn just says, I'm not sure yet. I think it'll just take her some time, even though we're in this last week, to figure that out. And I gotta say, I love Jenn's brother. He's incredible. Her whole family has been incredible, but I think the questions he asked, both of the guys, really kind of directing them to, like, are you really gonna care and be there for my sister? And then trying to just give that third party perspective to her sister, because obviously they are so close. We saw him getting emotional talking about when they were talking about their connection together and everything that they have been through in their lives and their close connection. So, but I love Jenn's brother. He was amazing on the show tonight, and her whole family as well. But talking to James got her thinking, and does have hope with Marcus, but doesn't want to fall into old patterns. And Jenn asks Marcus when they're outside after they walk out of the house, says, how do you see this ending for us? And he just scoots right around that answer, and Jenn's like, are you not certain about me? And he says no, it's that pressure that he's put on himself to have the family that he wants and provide for her, and said that he's trying because he thinks it's possible. Again, we've been hearing we think it's possible for about 4 or 5 weeks now, since Jenn has really started to confess her emotions for Marcus, but leaving another combo about their future confused. But she wants the answers and just not getting them, as Jenn says. I mean, this meet the family date, she's like, it's the last week, I shouldn't be confused with somebody. And that's what I was kind of saying. It's like, I don't think we've ever seen, one of the contestants of the final 2 guys or girls on Bachelor or Bachelorette, one of them be confused. Usually it's the lead that's confused, like, do I go with this person or do with this person? It's like, no, one of the people, one of the contestants, or whatever you want to call it, one of the men in the house, or the house is the one who's confused. I'm still a little jumbled on this, because I'm just still shocked at what we watch, and we haven't even got to the part yet of the episode. Oh my. Okay, so let's just keep it moving here. So in the live show, Jesse asks Jenn's brother about how he's doing, especially like in watching all that back. And her brother says that he's not happy right now, and I hope that means at this point in the episode. But we'll see more later. Jenn's worried about Devin getting in his head and self-sabotaging. They do a Hawaiian spiritual ceremony that's usually done before any big life events, about letting go of the past and embracing the future. They pick out rocks looking for things to get rid of, and Jenn's looking to get rid of fear of abandonment, and Devin is looking to let go of, like he said, the overthinking and just letting a good thing be a good thing. They release those fears and chuck those rocks in the ocean. At the night portion, Devin says, I could leave here crying or leave here happy, but I trust your opinion. Jenn says that means a lot because it means that he sees her completely. He gives her a gift from the shaman on their one-on-one date. Said not to give it up until he knew who he wanted to give it to for the rest of his life. It's like a little necklace that, twists around. And the whole point is that, everything in life, kind of twists around and everything, but it all comes back together in the end. Jenn says he keeps blowing her away and doesn't know how. And the fact that he waited to today, the last chance date, if you will, to give her this gift means he's ready for that commitment. She says, replaying their whole relationship, that she just understands how much their relationship has grown and how important he is to her and feels that unconditional love. Jenn wakes up frustrated and confused, obviously with Marcus here, knowing from Devin, knowing that he wants that future with Jenn and knowing where Marcus, not knowing really where Marcus's head is at. Jesse shows up to talk to Marcus and he's struggling with if him and Jenn were meant for each other. He thinks they're making progress. Part of him really loves Jenn and is torn about loving someone fully and with certainty. Jesse says, I'm not telling you how you should feel, but if you do love this woman, I think you gotta tell her, because if you don't, I'm afraid you're gonna lose her if you don't. He says it was a wake-up call. Hearing that from Jesse, Jenn says before they even do this whole date, she has so many questions and doesn't want to just go out and put on a fake smile for this whole last chance date for the whole day. She needs the answers and isn't going to wait any longer. Jenn shows up and says, tomorrow's an engagement and I don't know where your head's at and I don't know if you see me in your future. He said that he regrets not diving deeper on what their future could look like, as Jenn says she feels like they tried to talk about what a future could look like and felt like he just didn't want to talk about it. I think was referring to the overnight date where they stayed there in the fantasy suites, and she just said she doesn't think that he was excited about the possibility of a future with her. And he says it's just scary to me and that he's struggling. Jen's like, what are you trying to tell me? Here. And he said he's not keeping anything or any answers from her, but he wants to keep trying and find his person and his family. Jen's like, is that with me? Marcus says, I know my feelings are real and I can picture it with you, but he didn't think it would be this hard and he doesn't understand why. Jen's like, I've invested so much and she doesn't know what to do with it now. Where am I supposed to go from here? She said that she's not being handled with care and she's tired of feeling this way. Marcus says that I know that I love you and want to be that type of person that fights and wants to do that with you. And I want to give this a try. Don't want to give up on us. Jenn just walks away, says, I just need a second. Obviously, Jenn has been waiting to hear those words from Marcus, that he does love her for quite a while now. And I'm not saying that it's not genuine, but also, is it like you said that because you feel like she was about to walk out the door? Well, again, I'm not saying that. I'm not, speculating or saying anything, but it's just like you're saying you're not there for all this time, then it's literally like the last second, like 24 hours before a proposal is going to happen. And it seems like Jen's pressing you for answers. And then it's like, well, I do love you. And I'm not saying, I know he's been through so much in his life, been through a lot. I'm not discounting that at all, but I'm just curious what Jenn was thinking in that moment when he did say that. Jenn does say that the certainty in their relationship is dwindling down, and Marcus says how he's afraid of losing her, but he did say that he did fall in love with her, but was afraid to tell her because that's what she really wants, and has been asking if he can live up to what she's saying that she needs. He said that, I'm not giving you what you need. Jenn says that I opened my heart to you every chance I got, and gave this everything, maybe got a little lost in it and gave too much, But she said that she's done waiting for somebody to get there, knows what she wants for her future, and thanks him for being honest. So back at the live portion, Marcus joins Jesse on stage, and he said that he realized the painful truth there in those last couple days there in Hawaii, that he wasn't living up to what she needed. Jenn comes out to join them on stage. Jenn said that she kind of always thought something deep down always wasn't right, but needed to work through all those feelings, really to know for sure. Jenn said that the feeling that she had when Devin came and knocked on her door and she felt like she was losing him, that she realized that they were in a different spot and then kind of where they were in that moment. Marcus says that he feels like he was lying to himself and that they both kind of realized that he wasn't giving her what she needed. Jesse asked if he would have said I love you sooner, would it have ended differently? And she said no, because she just doesn't think it was the right relationship for her. So there's one man left, and it's Devin. Jesse says, is Jenn ready to get engaged? Is Devin ready to get engaged? Oh, okay, I thought we were in for this happy ending here, but let's hop back on the roller coaster here, head back to Hawaii. Jenn woke up not knowing how she's feeling. Jen's trying to figure out what's best for her. Devin shows up to pick out the ring from good old Neil Lane. And then here is that Jenn and Jesse conversation that we've been teased throughout the season, with her saying that she's always let the guys dictate the terms of their relationship. She's done doing that. She said that she thought she knew how she wanted this day to go, but woke up with a completely different feeling of how she wanted the day to go and how things to go for this last day here in Hawaii and with her journey. She says that she wants to propose to Devin, and that's kind of what we speculated here for a while. I feel like a lot of people speculated that, kind of what they were hinting at. Jesse's like, are you okay with whatever happens here? Then we jump back to the live portion. Jesse to interject and says, you won't be seeing that proposal. Said that wouldn't be appropriate to show that until we hear from Jenn. And then we cut to Jenn in the back, obviously visibly upset, crying. And then I went to Twitter right after this, if you do follow me on there. If you don't, hit that follow button on Twitter over there, X, whatever you want to call it. But enter the Jim Halpert gif. What is going on? Jenn is on stage after the commercial break, clearly emotional, and she says it's been a really hard couple of months. They had left Hawaii engaged. She thought she found the person wanted to spend the rest of her life with, but as soon as they left Hawaii, things were different. Felt like he was pulling away, the efforts were inconsistent, she said, and everything made her feel secondary to his life. He called and broke off the engagement the night before a happy couple visit and said that he didn't love her anymore and felt something had been off the second they got engaged. And she's been trying to wrap her head around everything the last month or so. He denied ever being in love. She even tried to take the pressure off of the engagement and was like, you know, if you're feeling the pressure from this, like, we can just be together. Don't need a ring on my finger, you know, whatsoever. And he didn't want to go to couples counseling. Jesse's like, I'm sorry, but I'm like shocked at all this, with how passionately that he always talked about Jenn and everything, you know, really throughout this pretty much entire journey, but especially this past, you know, month of the season here. Jenn says the last time they saw each other was over a month ago in July at a happy couple visit, and that he's been avoidant and not wanting to have a conversation with her and really just ghosting her. Devin comes out, handful of abuse in the audience, and rightfully so. Jenn said that she can try to understand someone changing their mind about how they feel about someone, but how he's been since ending the engagement over the phone is what she's struggling with. And especially when she said that she woke up the next day, I believe is what she said, and he's following other girls on Instagram, and not just any girls, Maria. And yeah, so that was quite a bombshell there, obviously. And then Devin jumps in and says, it was such a tough time. And then Jenn jumps in and says, what? You were going through such a tough time, so you followed Maria? And then he says that everything was real. And she's like, you said everything was real, but the next thing I know, you're in New York clubbing with Jeremy. And then you see Jeremy over his left shoulder in the audience, and he's kind of just like got the face on him. And at this point, like, everything is just, it's just completely going off the rails at this point. And Devin says that when they left the show that he had a lot of doubts. Apparently, he said that he had doubts throughout the show about not wanting to get engaged. And he just keeps on saying that he was being honest, but I was late letting you know. Oh, that's not really being honest there, buddy. Jenn just feels like he had one foot out the door the entire time, the entire engagement. And he said, apparently he said on the phone, I can't be sorry anymore. I gotta go. On the 15-minute phone call that broke off their engagement. And he says, I'm just being honest that I didn't live up to her expectations and what she needs. And Jesse asks, is there anything you feel like you need to tell her, Devin? And he's like, just being honest that he didn't live up to what she needed, and kind of just leaves it at that. And I gotta say, especially some comments after the show made by one of the showrunner people at ABC, Robert Mills, on Twitter, said, well, Devin, you had the chance to tell Jenn if anything else happened after the proposal and after the show. On there, paraphrasing a little bit, don't have the tweet up right in front of me, sorry, but go check out Robert Mills on Twitter for the exact tweet. And you didn't. So I feel like some stuff could definitely be coming out in the next couple of days. I've heard some other stuff as well through some other, Reality Steve and, stuff like that as well. Have, seen some stuff that could get messy in the next couple of days for Devin here, and quite frankly, he did it to himself. Then Jesse says to Jenn, even though your journey didn't end in a happy ending, you showed us what a strong woman is. Then Jesse says, like that beautiful proposal, should we watch it here together? She's still crying, and she's like, do I have a choice? It's like, has she not been through enough torture in this 3-hour show? But yes, ABC, but at least while we're showing the proposal, we got the little box at the bottom of the screen, and I don't know why we're putting Jenn in there. Like, she's been through enough. Put Devin in that box, and he was in that box for a while, but then they cut the box off or so. But no, I'd say keep Devin's face in there the whole time. Make him watch it. Make everyone watch his face while he's watching it. And I gotta say that it really was a beautiful proposal by Jenn, and I'm just completely and utterly sad for her that the man had to ruin it for her and ruin her happy ending on this show and in her journey and cause her this much pain in her life. And I agree with Jesse here saying that, looking back, hope that she can feel empowered because she did do things her way. And she really did throughout the whole journey. And then Devin giving those side-eye looks to Jenn. I swear everyone in that room could have slapped those looks straight off of his face. Like, he was not doing himself any favors in that room tonight with his facial expressions, some of his, he was trying to be a little bit apologetic, but not really. Like, he didn't do himself any favors. And from the sounds of Robert Mills and from some of the stuff Reality Steve has been, saying here, got Dave Neal and Reality Steve post-show live stream on the TV in the background here. Doesn't sound like it's going to be a good couple of days for Devin after this finale. But to close it out on Jenn's journey, I do feel really bad for her. She's an incredible person. Loved her last season on Joey's season. Thought she did a really good job on this season as well, navigating some difficult situations on the show. Obviously the Sam stuff, the Devin stuff earlier in the season, and obviously now. While we're on the Sam and Devin stuff, I did see a hilarious tweet about picture of Sam, and it says, the worst thing in the world when the worst person was actually right, or that whole saying. I thought that was hilarious. But overall for Jenn, I hope that she does find what she's looking for, finds that love, what she's looking for really in life. I know that it'll probably be take a while to get over this, but hope that she is able to, and I hope, kind of just reiterating it, just finds happiness in whatever she, wants in life going forward. But after that, we move forward to a preview for Joan's season of The Golden Bachelorette. We jump into that after the commercial. We see Kelsey getting out of the limo and introducing her dad to Joan, and we get their little introduction conversation, which was nice to see. But that's going to do it for the episode. So going forward, we got Golden Bachelorette in a couple weeks on the 18th premiering. So, we'll be here to cover all that. We'll be back right before the season starts with some of our predictions once we, get some more, sift through some more trailers and, look at the cast as a whole, make some predictions going forward. And then obviously we'll be back once the show starts with recaps and whatnot throughout the season. But as I said, we'll be here to cover it all. But dare I say that they actually might have delivered the most dramatic finale ever, as I said at the beginning here. But it was a wild season overall and a wild finale to top it all off. Once again, just want to reiterate, I hope Jenn finds happiness in whatever she wants in life going forward. Feel so bad for her that this is how her journey ended. overall, but she's an amazing person and thought she did a really good job this season. So hope that she finds what she's looking for going forward, wherever that is and whatever that is in life. But really hope she finds what she's looking for again going forward. But anyway, that'll do it for this one. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Peace out.